And Nigeria's inflation is easing, dropping for the fifth consecutive month to 20.12% in August 2025, down from over 32% just a year ago. For the first time in a long while, many Nigerians are now daring to hope that prices may be stabilizing. The data shows a sharp slowdown in food and headline inflation, with Enugu among the states recording the lowest inflation nationwide at just 14.2%, and even a rare month-on-month decline of over 5%. But beyond the numbers, what does this really mean for the average Nigerian market woman, the startup founder in Enugu Tech Hub, for instance, and the farmer in Nsukka struggling with transport costs? Is this really relief or just statistical respite? I'm joined by member of the House of Representatives, Boyega Isiaka, for more on this development. Honorable, thank you for joining us. The headline inflation has eased to 20.12%. It's the lowest in over a year. But core inflation covering housing, power, transport, and education actually rose month on month. Doesn't this suggest that living costs remain high despite headline numbers dropping?
Well, thank you very much. And good evening, viewers. From the component of the inflation calculation by Bureau of Statistics, food inflation actually constitutes over 40%. I mean, just about 40%. It used to be about 51% before the rebasing. So if the inflation rate is dropping on the average, on the life of an average Nigerian, whose food component constitutes the majority of the monthly expenditure. What it means is that is cost of living and livelihood is generally getting better. I mean, definitely, one leads to the other. What we expect is that over time, even some of the ones we have mentioned, we also start dropping, so that we can be moving towards the 50% rate that was targeted by the government in the budget. So the summary to the question is that these are just numbers. These are not just numbers, rather these are real. I mean, I've seen some other interviews, other stations, including TVC, who have visited markets, and it has actually been confirmed that prices are coming down. Particularly rice and the likes, maize and sorghum and the likes. So these are real, and I think this is being reflected in quite a number of other things that we do.
The federal government's goal is to push inflation down to 15% by year end. That was what Mr. President said earlier this year. Based on current trends, do you believe this is still feasible? Honorable. I'm asking if you think it's still feasible to hit 15% inflation rate this year, as promised by the federal government.
Well, at the rate at which the inflation has been dropping, between last month and now, it's dropped by 1.76%. So, I mean, another drop like that will bring it down below 20. And I think that we still have about 4 months to go. So even if you don't get to exactly 15%, if things continue this way, and I do expect it to continue, when we consider the fact that some other measures have been taken by government lately. For instance, there is this 4% FOB that has been reduced. Naira is also, appreciating, albeit, slowly. And then some other measures. I think with all those measures, I expect that even if you don't get to 15%, we should get something very close to it. Well, I think that is even feasible. The rate of drop that we have last month, it was about 1.7%, like I said. So I think it's quite achievable, or at least something very close to it. It's achievable by the end of the year.
The central bank's MPC meets in a few days to decide on the 27.5% benchmark interest rate. If the rates remain this high, do you see it affect SMEs who already struggle with credit access?
Well, the thing is that with the persistent drop, I have a feeling that the CBN, the CBN, MPR, MPC should not be having the confidence to drop the MPR. What we have before now is that they wanted to have to be sure that this drop is actually sustainable. But having had it 5 months consistently, I think we should begin to look at dropping the the minimum lending rate, such that the small scale the investing public can begin to have a relief in the area of interest on borrowing. That's what I expect. The rates are still high, justifiably so, because we are trying to look for all manners, all ways to ensure that we curb inflation, which is getting curbed. So my gut feeling is that the MPC should not be getting to a situation where the stable rate that we have had of 27.5 in the last 3 or 4 MPC meetings or thereabout, we should not be bringing it down. That's my expectation.
We're counting on that as well. Chairman, House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Gwega Isiaka, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.